You got to try.
So
right
now
we're now going live
there
on Facebook.
I think you've got me coming in stereo, possibly not in sync.
Let's see if this works.
Different speakers.
So now, Eterna, are you there?
I will.
I think you've got me coming in stereo, possibly not in sync through.
I'm requesting, but it's not working.
A lot of you sent in questions already. We're going to talk about the whole idea of Invisalign, and we're going to talk about the detail.
Okay,
there you are. Okay, right. I should come a bit closer to this lens, so we're.
Oh my gosh, this is like amazing. This is so weird.
Is this okay? Your end.
Amazing. This is.
Your sound is coming and going.
Your sound is coming and going.
Okay, I wonder if. Hold on, let me just check.
That's okay. That's okay. How's your Wi-Fi?
That's okay. That's okay. How's your Wi-Fi?
Okay, I'm just swapping to that. I think it's me. Give me 1 second.
You're frozen. I can't hear you on Instagram.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Yes, I can.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Right. Here we are.
Can you hear me? And it's not too distracting.
No.
I'm sorry we're late starting, everybody. We've been having what should we call it? Entrepreneurs tech issues.
Yes.
We're very bravely seeing what we can do with all of this. And Liz tells me it's very easy to do this, but I think she's had more practice. So, right. Sorry, everybody. Where are we? Oh, thank you. Really lovely comments. Invisalign. Deep aligners. Why I'm doing them, what they're all about, what it costs, what the problems are, all the questions that you've sent in. I mean, where do we start? I'm doing this belated teeth straightening exercise because, I mean, we got to a point where my teeth were starting to fall in a bit. My bite isn't great. I've been a habitual tooth grinder all my life. And, you know, you've been very gently suggesting for a while that it would be good to do something from a functional point of view as well as a cosmetic one. And we got to that point last week where you had like this actually needs doing. I thought, okay, let's go for it. So, I mean, it's benefits for the way the teeth look, but it's also benefits for function as well, isn't it? That was one thing I wanted to ask you about first.
Yeah, I think it's really because remember how you just chewing through your splint. So you know the easiest way when someone's grinding and crunching and you know all those features you have to write was wearing the night guards so that you grind the plastic rather than your teeth. And so the nice thing about the Invisalign now is that I can even out your bite. So I always say to patients that I tend to divide people, and it's a bit simplistic, but I say stiletto and a stiletto bite and a sneakers bite. So what do I mean by that? So like if I stepped on your foot wearing stilettos, the pressure and the pain of the force versus with some trainers. So by just broadening and widening your bite and getting the teeth all kind of standing upright in the right place, the aim is that it will give you a much more secure biting, you know, so more even bite. So we'll stop that a bit.
And Invisalign has become massively popular over the past 10 years, or 2, 3, 5 years, because, you know, when it launched, which, I don't know, it seems like 12 years ago or something, I remember a lot of the dentists I work with for work were really quite sniffy about it and didn't seem to think it was a good idea at all. And yet now we've got to a point where somebody like you who has done professional orthodontics at a very high level and teaches it around the world, where it's a good alternative to that for you. And how is that?
It's such a brilliant treatment now. Even die-hard orthodontists, you know, because what normally happens is everybody's a dentist, then you specialize. So if somebody needs kind of fixed braces, which is like the traditional wire, you know, train track things, I get the orthodontist to do that. But even they now are realizing the impact of Invisalign. And I tend to deal with a lot of patients that have had ortho before as kids, as teenagers. And the first thing everybody says is it's so much more comfortable. They're like, they're expecting much more pain and discomfort. And that's not the case with this. And the movements now are just phenomenal. And the thing I like about it is there's control. I love that expression, begin with the end in mind. So we know how it's going to end up, and then we just work backwards. So it's much more control. It's brilliant.
Yeah, because how it works is you start with a really detailed scan of the mouth, which you do this intraoral scanner thing. So you get this extraordinary 3D set of teeth which you can rotate on the screen and discuss. You can rotate and say, look, this is what it looks like now, and this is where we would like to get to with this is what it looks like with the teeth now, and that's a very compelling proposition as a patient, and that's a very compelling I want those lovely, nicely balanced, even little teeth. And it also means you can finesse it according to people's, what should we say, particular requirements. Because I've always had this massive gap in my teeth, and I quite wanted it straightened, but I didn't want to get rid of it, which is quite a challenging thing to ask for, isn't it?
You're disappearing. Yeah.
Is it a challenging thing to ask or sorry.
Yeah, it is challenging. Sorry, there's feedback on the laptop. I'm just gonna reduce it a little bit. Because it's one of the most difficult questions when people come in like yourselves and hubby's kind of, I like your gap. I married you with a gap. So for me, I've got all this pressure and all your followers and people sending me message. We love Alice's gap.
You said sorry.
So trying to determine how big a gap, that's more the challenge than keeping the gap. And I think this is the beauty of using Invisalign for like you now, in that, we've kind of done it, but it's a little bit too much, so that we can just step back, widen it a wee bit, and just make it fit. Make it fit.
Because I got through the first 14 weeks by January, and then we both looked at the results and thought, actually, the gap's pretty well gone. So I'm now very kindly gone back and gone over it enough and I'm on a kind of revision program. I'm pulling out some of the bits here and widening them. So it's really interesting that you can do all this with it. So one thing I wanted to ask, everybody's asking what is the cost of doing all this, which is and why everybody is charging something different for Invisalign. And I know you're like an absolute opposite diamond platinum provider.
Oh no, I'm not. So when they talk about gold, diamond, platinum, that's to do with the number of cases that you do, as opposed to how good you are. And so there are some people that do loads and loads of Invisalign and do nothing else. Can you hear the feedback, or is it just me?
I can hear the feedback, and I'm hoping it won't come through on the recording of this, but maybe it will. Can somebody, James and Lisa, lovely people who are listening, is this okay sound-wise? Because we're trying to screen it on other platforms as well, we can hear feedback going from one to the other, but is that okay for you, or is it also feeding back and making it a nice experience, in which case we'll stop?
I'm just going to move the laptop away a little bit and see if that's any better. You're dead straight. I need to come and see how you set up. Anyway, so it sounds fine.
I'll do it. She got back the other. Oh, it's fine. Thank you. Thanks so much, guys. That's really kind.
But on Facebook, they've is it Anne has said it's terrible feedback.
Oh, sorry.
I don't. Let me see if this is better. Is that better? Oh, anyway. Okay. Well, let's continue.
Annie, I'm really sorry. This is our first attempt at doing this, so we'll
work on it.
We'll get better. I'll see if I can save it afterwards, and I can listen and see. But anyway,
okay.
thank you all.
is really important. Yeah. So, you know, you can have gold, platinum, all that kind of stuff. And that's to do with the number of cases. So yes, of course, one could say if you do lots of cases, you're better at it, but you may be doing lots and lots of simple cases. So it's a challenging one because it kind of comes across as a bit of a commodity, like buying a pair of shoes. So at this dentist, it's £2,000, and at that one, it's £6,000. Why? So many different reasons. It depends on the complexity of the treatment. It depends on if you can have different levels. So comprehensive, which means like which you are, where things are more challenging. It depends on the expertise. It depends on which part of the country. So I think, like all things clinical, medical, it's about the value of choosing the right person. You know, I sometimes I say to my team that I'm not sure that I could afford me. But if I needed me, I would save and have me, because at the end of the day, the what you're paying for is the expertise that if things go wrong, I know what to do. And like as soon as you come and you talk, I can, you know, it's like I can see the end result rather than eking it out and trying to figure it out. So I think it's really important to pick the right person.
So the total cost for this is going to be around £5,000, isn't it? Because, you know, it's slightly going back and forth and up and down. And obviously it could be done cheaper, but then I would be really unhappy if we had left the result like in January where we got to, because that wasn't what I was aiming.
Right. And that's part of the things of the different levels, because, for example, if I needed 100 aligners for you, because you're I can do that. You know, I can change things in the middle. I rescan you. I can redesign, because it is a computer simulation at the end of the day. But I'm dealing with biology. So one of the key things that can happen with any type of ortho is you can get gum recession.
Okay.
So again, that's the thing to do with pricing, because sometimes, you know, you may the less times I see you, the more profitable it is for me. Let's get real.
I want to see you. I've seen almost nobody else for months and months and months. It is a great joy of coming into your practice for all the spraying and masks and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So that if I, let's say, you know, like the way that I faced you, so like I'd be like, most of my patients I see after 2 weeks to see how you're getting on, monitor it, then 4 weeks, then maybe 6 weeks. Some people maybe, I'll see you in 2 months, you know, and I don't want to do that. I want to monitor and make sure things are going really well. And again, I hope, you know, on my high horse about Smile Direct. Have you been asked about that? The babe of my life.
Somebody's asked not about Smile Direct, there were various different things. Yes, I have. Yeah, how does Invisalign compare to business models, i.e. Smile Direct? Could you talk about that?
Yeah. It's cost. So, you know, the thing is, if you're choosing based on cost, then Smile Direct is the way to go. But that's not health. So what people don't realize is, like with Smile Direct, you're not monitored. You even take the molds yourself and all sorts of crazy things like that. And in the States, for example, there are so many lawsuits against the company. And what they do is there's like gagging orders, so people get their money back, but they can't discuss it. So, you know, if done correctly, Invisalign ortho is fantastic. When done incorrectly, gum damage, bone damage, you can lose teeth. There's all sorts of things that can happen. And also the science and the technology is completely different. So I am looking at you people, please. I'd rather people did not do anything than did something like that, because you've only got one set of teeth. Don't.
Sure. Okay. Does the same apply to Clear Direct? Somebody's asking.
Yeah. Anything that's direct, anything that doesn't involve a dentist.
Okay.
Because a lot of them, the reason it's cheaper is there's not clinical time. You're not in the surgery, you're not being monitored, you're left to your own devices. And so I think nobody should do that. I think people should just stay away from that. Really, really important.
Okay, fab. And so I think you sort of touched on this before, but how do you choose between this and classical orthodontics if you've got somebody coming in with wanting teeth straightening? Does it depend on the extent of the problem or the
Okay. Absolutely. So it's kind of like assessing everything, and certainly for me, it's not one size fits all. There are some. So the different things like Invisalign predominantly do what we call tipping movements. So if the tooth is here, let's say like this, and I want to tip it, it's excellent at that. And there's various other things it's really good at. There are some things where it's like bodily movement. So the tooth is here and I want it here. Sometimes you need fixed to move it over. So it just depends on the case, as in what's best for one.
Fab, thank you. There's loads of particularly different questions, which are the ones that we sent in. So perhaps we could go through that, or maybe I should talk a bit about what it's actually like. Because somebody was saying, aren't they very painful? And they're not. I've been amazed by how comfortable they are. I mean, when you first put the first ones in, I was a bit like, whoa, there's pressure, and you feel the pressure in different points. And then when you take them off to eat or clean your teeth, because you keep them on basically the whole time, don't you? You take them out to eat, clean your teeth, put them back on.
So that's me moving because I've just realised my battery's about to die. So yes,
Lisa saying same thing. And I just the only thing I did find is I kind of panicked about how to get them out, because I find it really difficult, and I was breaking all my nails at first time because you have to kind of tweak them down at the corner. But then I found these things which I don't know, they're called aligner puller outers or something, or aligner tools. Some lovely person on Instagram sent me a message saying, just Google these things, which I did, and they're fab because you can hook them on and yank them down. Also, if you're out with friends, as if, or one day,
those days,
it's slightly more elegant to use this than to just
But look at how good you are now. You don't even need the mirror. It's just like a flicker. You're done.
Well, there's always one kind of not weak point, but there's always one bit where you can push them up, and I find it varies from set to set. Because if I go back for a usual pattern and it doesn't do it, I'm stuck. But because they're quite easy to get out, lots of people said helpful things like you'll find your snacking habits improve so much because you won't be bothered to take them out. And oddly enough, I find I can be bothered to take them out an immense number of times a day. And then I also find when I've got them out, I sort of think, what else can I eat while I've got them out? So
maximize it.
I have eaten a great deal, and also I'm afraid I've got really sloppy about it because you shouldn't drink anything except water when you've got them in, should you?
You
shouldn't drink
definitely nothing hot.
You mustn't drink hot drinks because it might warp them. Is that the case, or I don't know. But anyway, I find being lazy, it's perfectly possible to let a cup of tea get nice and cool and then drink it with the aligners in, which is not good practice, people, and you should never do that.
But I think you're probably doing that because you've become a bit lax. At the beginning, you weren't doing that.
No, I wasn't at the beginning, and also because it's lockdown, and if the aligners get filthy and my teeth aren't looking great, frankly, it's not a big problem, particularly at the moment. Family doesn't mind, and neither does the dog. And on Instagram, you all being very kind not to sort of say, "Oh, I can't believe what your teeth are looking like." Frankly, there are bigger problems around. So that getting it out, and the aim is to kind of wear them for between 20 and 22 hours a day. Isn't it? I find they move really quickly.
They do. I mean, and the nice thing is, like, it's now every week. So before it used to be 2 weeks or so. And I say to everybody, you should really, ideally, only take them out 4 times a day. So when you wake up in the morning, you take them out, brush your teeth, because that's the first thing you do, people, before anything else. Yeah. And then put them back in whilst you have your shower, you get dressed, all that kind of stuff. Then you take them out to have breakfast. After breakfast, you put them back, take them out for lunch, put them back, and then take them out to have your supper and put them back. And then that should be it. So if you're doing that, then it's, it's working to its maximum.
Fab. And somebody had asked, ESM Green, does it hurt? Can you get to sleep, or is it too painful? No, it's never been actively painful. I mean, some of them have ached a bit, but I find if I put in a new set at night and go to sleep with them, by the morning, even my teeth have reached an accommodation with them. I do find, particularly at first, eating, because the teeth were moving into different bits, and maybe I was using different bits of the bite, so it wasn't the usual stiletto thing that you described earlier. They certainly ate, so it makes me quite cautious about biting on things, but it's not painful. It's absolutely not painful, and that's one thing that's really surprised me. Somebody had asked, does everybody need the buttons on the teeth? Now, what that means is the aligners have little sort of blister pockets on the front of them. I don't know if you can see on that, probably not. But I've got these little buttons on my teeth, which you bond them on in very specific positions. And what's the point of those?
So they are, they're the equivalent of, in the traditional train tracks, you've got the brackets that sit on the teeth, and they kind of almost think of them as focusing the pressure, the forces to get the teeth moved. So they appear in certain positions on different teeth. So you don't need them. Not everybody needs them. It depends on what the treatment is and what we're trying to achieve. And actually, it's one of the points of difference between Invisalign and most of the other clear aligner things. They don't have that. So that's why it's much more effective and it's much more predictable. And it's one of the reasons why I like it. So like if the buttons are in different positions, the teeth move in different ways, so it's much more controlled and it's much more effective.
Lovely. And there was also the question, do they stain? I think that depends on your brushing technique. I've got one bad patch of staining down here, but they're quite close together, and I just...
But also, nobody gets up, like with this, nobody would know, even if you came up closer.
Yeah.
Unless people came up in your personal space, they wouldn't even be able to see the buttons. So I think that's something that's really good about it. So
I've lost you on the other screen. Oh, there you are, back again. Hang on. Sorry, everybody on Instagram. We'll just pick up the other.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah, the other screen. You're back on air. There we are. Nope, it's not liking it. Let me ask you another question while I try and sort this out.
Okay.
Newbie tech issues. I have absolutely no idea. Are they safe? Is it safe for crowns, root canals, fillings, and other dental work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if your mouth is healthy, you can have Invisalign. The key thing is to get it healthy first and then do that. So the only time to be cautious, and that's with any type of braces, is if you've got gum problems, but then you wouldn't start unless that was sorted. So the way that orthodontic treatment works is by moving bone. So if you imagine that, there's bone in front, it's a bit like an army advancing. So as the tooth, so you've got various cells, so osteoclasts basically remove the bone so the teeth can move forward. Then you've got osteoblasts that deposit bone behind to maintain the position. So if Invisalign or if ortho is happening in a place where there is disease, then that can just go out of control and your teeth can become really mobile and that can create problems. So apart from that, there's no contraindication. If you've got fillings and crowns, it's not a problem, you can do that. Lost sound.
Oh, heck.
Is the sound from me or from you? We don't know.
Oh, God. I can't bear this. Sound is not okay. It's back. Ask the question again. I must ask the question again. Help. What was the question, Lucy? It was about.
It was any time not to have it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it about?
What I was saying was that you can have, whether you've got fillings, crowns, none of it contraindicates having Invisalign, as long as your mouth is healthy. The only time is if you've got gum problems, gum disease especially, and because also works by the bone moving. So if you're advancing, you're moving forward, the bone goes with it, otherwise the teeth won't be able to move. So in the presence of disease, that can be out of control. So again, it's one of the reasons why you have to go to somebody that knows what they're doing so that they can monitor it. If somebody has been prone to gum disease, like gum problems, I mean, it might seem a bit over the top, but I tend to call periodontal gum disease my version of cancer. In that, I know it's like, oh my God, I don't want to say the SC word, but it never goes away. You go into remission. So in the same way as that, if you've had and you've got, you're going for your regular checkups, because things can, stress, hormones, all sorts of things can tip the balance. So if you're having ortho and you've ever had any gum issues, if your dentist says, oh, here you are, I'll see you in 8 weeks, say no, like you need to see me more often because you just need to know what's going on.
Okay, fab. Somebody, Trotter MCK is asking, just needs their lower teeth doing, the retainer has slipped, so it's just the lower ones you're doing. Can you do just the lower ones?
Absolutely. You do the upper or just the lower. You don't need to do
yeah. Somebody, Keiki was asking, had asked before about the reasons Invisalign might not be suitable. Is there anything else on top of those things you've just said now?
No. I mean, I think the 21st century Invisalign, there's so few things that it can't do. And for me, I tend to use it as part of an overall treatment. So, you were talking, one of the things about women of our age is that everything comes in, like the mouth starts collapsing inwards.
Yeah.
So one of the best things that I can do, is great for your bite, but it also supports the face, is to bring out what the buccal corridor. So instead of everything in, bringing it out. So it's awesome for stuff like that. But if I'm doing somebody's smile, sometimes I'll do a little bit of Invisalign, a month or two. Still need to put veneers or bonding, but it means that it won't be as thick and there's less dentistry because you get the teeth in the right places. So it's brilliant.
Thank you. Lucy was asking about, she's got to have her wisdom teeth out at some point.
Yeah.
So should she do that before Invisalign or after?
Oh, your dentist will be able to let you know. Sometimes it's fine before, sometimes after. A lot of the times you don't even need to have them out. Like, for a lot of people assume, oh, the wisdom teeth is why my teeth have moved. It's not, because it's so far back. It doesn't actually have that much of an impact. So, but the younger you are, the more likely you might need to have your wisdom teeth out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, there you go, Lucy. Joe's asking about gum disease. Can it be got under control so Invisalign can be done?
100%. And actually, in a weird way, the advantage, if there is an advantage, if you've had gum disease, it means everything works faster because there's less bone. So you move quicker. I know.
Okay. That is a terrible reason, but yeah. Also, you will need to be really cooperative with your dentist and do everything they suggest. So, hey Mel, nice to see you, Johnny. Somebody was asking, can it widen the upper arch? I think it definitely can. That's what you've been doing with mine, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just stop it coming in. And Laura Jane says she too has a little front gap which she would like to close a bit, but to keep the gap, can it be done? Yes, absolutely. I think you said that already. How long have I been wearing these for? I did 14 weeks, then we had a kind of 7-week gap during which I managed not to lose that one last set of aligners, and we're now on another 8 weeks. But that's pretty quick, isn't it? Because I mean, I know friends who've had them for like 18 months.
Yeah. It's about sometimes I think the technicians at Invisalign hate me because I'm really a bit militant.
I was ringing up nagging saying, oh, when can we have them? You said, I have just sent them back to the plans back for the 6th time. And you thought, oh, sorry, I should be so lucky to have this kind of, but you know, I know you're really hot on the detail. And that's why I'm really happy to have you doing it. Catty agreed, if my teeth are not completely straight after Invisalign, does that mean I should have had them for longer?
Possibly. Do I sound like a politician? Possibly. So, you know,
well, without seeing, can you?
Yeah. Because what always happens is you know, there's a simulation of how it should be, but until it's done, we can't tell. And so when I get to the end, then I always scan again and kind of compare. And at the end of the day, like, I won't finish unless we're both satisfied, you know, and especially if you're doing the comprehensive, that's the time, because there comes a time when you can't have any more aligners. So I'm like, if you're doing it, do it, you know.
Yeah, okay. Right, and then when it's finished, another question: do you need to wear retainers for life? I think the answer is probably yes, isn't it?
100%. Sometimes, if you need a belt and braces, what I call a belt and braces type approach, then it's the both. So what I say is that the wires support the removable ones, the ones that you wear at night. So you don't always have to have. You know, it used to be, and for some people, but I'm doing it fewer and fewer times. I just put the wire, and then they don't need the plastic ones.
Okay.
But now I'm tending, especially because I treat mainly adults, to have the, you know, if they need the wire, if I feel they need the wire. So, for example, if you've got movements like, let's say somebody's tooth is twisted, and I'm rotating it. So just think of like an elastic band. Over a period of time, it can start turning again. So by kind of putting the metal wire on, and it's very fine, it helps kind of keep it in place. But at least the first 9 months to a year, I want you to wear the removable ones as well, because it's just so that everything beds in and the new bone, you know, develops and hardens. Just to be safe, really.
Sure, and if you're a tooth grinder, then it's useful to have that will function as a night splint as well.
Exactly. Okay. You'll be wearing something anyway, so that's perfect.
Because I found at first I didn't clench so much because the pressure was in all sorts of unusual places, but I fear now I've got into the habit of just hanging onto them wherever they are. So I think it's buckets of toxin once the clinics reopen for me, but that's good to know. Is it suitable for people to grind their teeth? Yes, you've answered that. Is it suitable for migraine sufferers? Asked just myself.
Yes, 100%. What happens with, so I'm just seeing sorry to everybody on YouTube. I have no idea what to do about the
Is it still feedback on YouTube?
Yeah, someone just said there's a lot of echo on YouTube.
Oh, sorry.
And that's probably, I think it's probably me, because anyway,
I turned the volume right down on my laptop, and which I thought might mean that nobody can hear at all.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Oh, sorry, people. We will try and well, we'll get better at it, but you won't want us to repeat this at this rate.
It's funny, I've taken off the volume on my laptop, so if anyone on YouTube, tell me if you can still hear us, or if you can still hear me, or if it needs a little bit, so that would be interesting. Because maybe the volume comes from this.
I suspect the volume from this is knocking back through that. I shall have to go to friends who do this more professionally and ask how they manage it. But thank you, everybody who's stuck with us on any of these channels.
What were we just talking about? I've forgotten. We were
talking about migraine.
Oh, yes. So the way that the migraine works, and why, like in most migraine clinics, the first thing that you get is a splint. Because if you imagine that you're biting tooth, and enamel is like the hardest substance in the human body. So you can imagine the amount of force needed to wear it down, which is what happens if you grind your teeth. So that's transferred to the muscle. So if you imagine if you kept doing weights on the same arm over and over and over again, how it will spasm and it gets so painful. And that's what happens with the migraine, like your whole head, all this area tightens up. So when you put a stress breaker, which in this instance would be what a splint is, or even if you're wearing Invisalign, it means that you're grinding the plastic, which is softer, and the muscles can relax. So it's so much better that way. Yeah, completely.
Lovely. Thank you. Okay, I've come to the end of the questions that people have put in before, so I'll pick up any more that are on here. So anybody who's listening who's got any more questions, shove them through now. Otherwise, we will call it a night. And so thank you very much. Now, one last question here. Can we talk about how and why teeth move as we get to middle age? Oh, yes.
Oh, middle age for so many reasons. I mean, there's a natural. I remember when I thought middle age was like 30, 40.
Oh, cut your hair short, elasticated waistbands, sensible handbags. Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know. So as one gets older, there's a natural drifting of teeth anyway. So, your teeth sit in what we call the periodontal ligament, which is a bit like, it's the tissues, it's the it's a collagen base. And so, like with everything else to do with skin, teeth are the same, collagen unravels, loosens up, teeth start moving. But something that's really kind of close to my heart at the moment is the menopause. So, I've just been talking a lot about estrogen because we have so many estrogen receptors in the mouth.
Wow.
And I find it astounding that not enough people talk about this. So when you've got less estrogen, it impacts so many other aspects of the mouth. And that's why teeth move. Just like with menopause, they're concerned about osteoporosis. People talk about the osteoporosis in the rest of the body, but no one talks about, with the jaw. So there are quite a lot of things. So what I say to people is, especially for women, go into training. There are certain times in your life that you have to go into training, protecting your mouth. So one is puberty, anything to do with hormones, because you get this rush of hormones and it can affect your gums and your teeth. Next is pregnancy. So I say to people, if you're thinking of getting pregnant, you need to prepare ahead of time. So start 6 months before, get your mouth really, really super healthy, because things can be transferred, which is why, when you, in the old-fashioned way, you drop your the baby's dummy and you put it in your mouth to clean it. It's like, no, because you can transfer your bacteria to the baby. So that's the second time. And then the third time is menopause. So from your 40s, you and your hygienist need to become best buddies. So you need to maintain, we almost need to overcompensate for what's coming, and then if you do that, then things will stay healthy and we're less likely to have problems. So we need to get the word out there and make menopause sexy so people will talk about it more.
And I need to do a teeth Tweakments book with you one day. Because I mean, like people are saying, like Joe was saying, it is fascinating that I've heard you mention it, but not talk fully around it, the whole link, and it's just something we don't know, and if you don't know, you aren't going to be prepared. You sort of think, why should I bother, if you have all this flagged up to you in advance. Joe Davis is asking, can Invisalign plump out the face a bit through widening the palate? Did you understand that correctly? I think it can support. I mean, it's not going to pump it out from where it would have been, but it can stop it from collapsing quite so much.
I always use the analogy of like a wedding dress. You know how you have the print, what do you call it? Yeah. So the way you put the top coat, the top layer, it holds it out. Yeah, so it's exactly the same with the face, which is why, like if you use the teeth, often I have patients that will come in and they've lost a tooth and they notice that there's like a dimple or a line because that section is not being, kind of supported as much. So that can make a big difference.
Yeah, and you think of what a really old person's sort of mouth will look like. It always looks like a bit shrunken in, and the the lips have sort of fallen in around that, because I mean everything is collapsed. We're losing bone from the three arches of the face, here, there, and everywhere. So of course, when we're losing it on the inside as well, so everything is.
And we talk about that. It's so interesting now with everybody wearing masks, because if you're like this, you can't tell the age of a person. I know that we're not. You just see the top bit, but once this comes up, which is why that bottom third is so important. And if anybody, if you do teeth first, you'll need less fillers because your lips come out because they're supported. So there's so many other reasons to kind of not forget about your smile.
Yeah, totally. All the cosmetic dentists who are also aesthetic practitioners and who do both, they say that is absolutely, oops, you've gone again on the other stream. Never mind. You've not even gone to, oh, here we are, you're black and white.
This is having connection. It's you have gone, I'm still here, I'm all by myself. There you are, welcome back.
There we are.
Welcome back to your show.
There we are. Yes, and thank you for the 6 people who are watching on that. You're brilliant to stick with us when we are being absolute rookies at it. Last question from category as well, which is, can a healthy mouth, because we're talking about an unhealthy mouth and how the teeth will move, can having a healthy mouth stop the teeth from moving?
Definitely, it'll definitely slow it down. If you haven't got disease, you're not going to lose bone, and teeth aren't going to move. So so many other reasons to have your mouth healthy.
Brilliant. Get your both got some scaling, James. Yeah, well, you would know, James. You would know how to maximize that. And thank you very much, everybody who's listening. Thank you so much, because I know you've had a long day. You got Schumacher into bed. You've grappled with all these new tech things, and he's saying, no, try this, try that.
This is like amazing. Thank you for letting me into it. I'm going to find out more, because this is the future, isn't it?
And it's a new platform. I caught a tutorial on it earlier about how to use this. This is, for anybody watching, it's a platform on which you can stream live to 30 different platforms, but most of the platforms I haven't heard of, let alone got any presence of. And somebody, Kimberly, you're starting Invisalign. I'm seeing Emma Gunn's teeth. Yeah, hers are incredible. And I know, Jenna, she is coming to see you on Friday, because I'm hoping to loiter around outside and then walk with her to talk and walk with her afterwards. So we're all connected.
I'm going to miss it when I'm the place that people can come. For the first time ever, everyone's like, can I book an appointment with you? Because you're the only person I can see right now. So
and I think the last time I was in, I sort of thought, I'm sure I know that voice who was coming out of your room, and it was Ashley. Although, as you said, did I not hear the squealing and giggling? Is that not a giveaway? You think, actually didn't know. But lots of patients are laughing with you. Anyway, thank you very, very much. And
you are welcome.
See you before long.
So much fun.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye now.
So good. Right.
Okay, ending. Yeah, there we go.
And now, how do I leave here?
The other ones.